Frank. What's the weirdest thing you've ever saw in here?
Let me ask you a question, kid. Did you see that movie, Night of the Living Dead?
Hey, we gonna party tonight or what?
Yeah, we are gonna party.
Well, where are we gonna party?
I don't know, somewhere.
Hey, we could go to the park.
Oh, no, we can't. The cops said they'd shoot us if we go back to the park.
Yeah, and I ain't in no mood to go tonight.
I like death.
Ghouls, and welcome to minute 73 of Do You Want to Party, the Movies by Minute podcast for the 1985 groundbreaking horror classic, The Return of the Living Dead. I'm your host, Troy, and joining us for this episode is yet another special guest star host, none other than Tina herself.
Hi, everybody. Beverly Randolph here.
Hello, Beverly, and thank you for joining me. I've had a couple of your other previous guest, your fellow cast members and all that sort of thing thing. So hopefully, thank you once again for joining me. So as it is, like I've been talking to the other guests and all that sort of thing, how has this particular year as the 40th anniversary been for you? Have you had a fun time? I've been seeing like all sorts of posts with you guys and all that at different conventions. How's it been going for you?
Great. We've been having the best time. We've just been going to so many conventions. We had 2 back-to-back this month. We had 2 back-to-back the last month. And then we finish it off with Chicago Days of the Dead in November and Days of the Dead in Indianapolis in December. So
yes,
we're
exactly. Yeah,
we're going to finish out well. Yeah, the Days of the Dead has been very good to us. They've had us to all of their shows this year, except for one. They had a little fumble, so we missed Phoenix. But otherwise,
okay.
Yeah, but it was great. So much fun.
Okay, just a peek behind the curtain. We are recording this actually on the 30th of October and all that sort of thing. So the previous weekend that you guys were at was the big George A. Romero in Pittsburgh, was it not?
Living Dead weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, they had they built sets. Kevin, who runs it or owns it, he built the sets from the graveyard with the tombstone where Linnea does her dance.
That's where those pictures are from. Okay.
Unbelievable, yes. And they also did the warehouse. So, which you probably saw.
Excellent.
It was incredible. It was like people were going crazy. They all wanted a photo op because it was just so incredible.
Oh, of course. That's fantastic. All right. That's so cool. Okay, so first of all, we're going to get into the actual episode itself. So this particular minute is going to start with a commotion in the chapel and ends with Freddy bursting through the door.
That's my guy.
Well, maybe not at this point in the movie, though.
Yeah.
Inside the embalming room, we find Bert, Spider, and Ernie gathered around the examination table where the half-corpse thrashes around. Its bonds still holding it secure as it wails loudly for its sustenance. The latter 2 gentlemen still holding the truck car that is typically used for the embalming process, whereas Spider has grabbed it to use as a weapon against the shouting ghoul, and Ernie has tried to stop Spider from doing so. However, the shouting from the distance catches them off guard, and needing to investigate, Bert, trusty lead pipe in hand, heads towards the racket. The struggle between Spider and Ernie abruptly halts. The younger man, giving up the grip on the makeshift weapon, quickly dashes around the table to follow Bert. Once Ernie places the tool down, he then follows suit. The tied-down ghoul almost mockingly continues her gargled cries as the 3 men once again abandon poor Tina. The camera pursues Bert, Spider, and Ernie around the corner of the hallway and down towards the foyer. The sounds of the double handles of the double doors attempting to be opened. Now obvious as we witness them wildly twisting about, the key lock just above the right side handle seemingly doing its job. Mallet held at the ready, Spider after stepping forward, points out the obvious.
Shit, it's trying to get out.
The pounding against the opposite side of the door becomes louder until one of the decorative panels of the door suddenly splinters as it's being breached by the angry creature that used to be Freddy. Thinking fast, Bert rushes towards the object.
Get a bench, come on.
He calls to ask for assistance. Spider holsters his tool/weapon, assists him while Ernie steps forward to the slowly beginning destroyed doors. Inside the chapel, Freddy tries to press his release from his makeshift prison. Pulling out a nail and a hammer, Ernie reaches towards the top of the door to drive the single nail further to secure the door. An obvious fruitless act as the main structure of the door being currently breached. Nonetheless, Ernie pushes on. While doing so, Spider and Bert returns, carrying a pew at either end. As they get closer, Bert shouts for Ernie to move.
Ernie! Ernie, out of the way!
He quickly turns, seeing what's being brought forward, and quickly tries to get out of the way. He struggles slightly while needing to push a small sofa set aside to the entrance of the wee chapel of the dawn. He then skirts around the new barrier being put in place. He takes a place next to Spider as the back of the bench is being pressed up against the door. However, it is still being lifted. While it's still being lifted, Spider's end drops way sooner than Bert's, catching Ernie off guard as the full weight crashes down upon his ankle, the leg making impact. Ernie falls to the ground, clutching at his injury, while the others shove the seating against the entryway, where Freddy continues to pound against. Once satisfied with the makeshift barrier, they turn to the prone Ernie. They both grab an arm, and Ernie, who protests the ability to move, as he's lifted, Bert ensures him the opposite, as they once again retreat towards the embalming room. As they push through the doors into the back room of the funeral parlor, Spider points out that their need to evacuate.
Can't stay here no more, man. He's gonna come busting through the door in a minute.
As they rush Ernie to the chair located next to the leather sofa, where we find Tina, balled up, crying to herself. Once Ernie is seated, Bert announces his plan.
Run for the cars.
And while Spider steps towards his fractured friend, Bert goes back to the door they just passed through and turns the one bolt lock and the secondary pin lock into place. Spider points out to Bert the impossibility of his plan.
There's zombies all over the cars outside.
While Ernie gingerly is examining his injury. As he heads towards the actual back door of the embalming room, the time is 3:20 a.m. Bert, while briefly opening and closing the portal, tells Spider of them not having any options.
Gotta find a way through them, there's no other way.
And how they have to make it work. He then, picking up his trusty lead pipe again, exhaustively claims that the new plan's chance of succeeding.
Once we're in the car and moving, I think we'll be all right.
Quickly followed by a sort of pointing out of the odd style response from Spider.
It's a big fucking if, man.
As the growling from both sides of the room can be heard, Ernie points out the chances of him taking part in the new plan, as both Bert and Spider close in on him.
Yeah.
I can't walk. Much less run.
The first of which requests the medical update.
How bad is your foot, honey?
And with a new pale face, breathing exhaustedly, Ernie confesses his diagnosis.
Broke.
Meanwhile, outside of the chapel doors, the pew seems to have done the trick. The door is no longer capable of swinging open. However, the slight breach from earlier bursts open as Freddy's shoulder and arm forces its way through, sending wood sharp shrapnel flying. Through the now bigger exit, he pushes his torso through. The acid having done its damage, showing the nasty flesh burned on his red/pink flesh around his eyes, making his vision useless. His one hand now clawing aimlessly at where he believes is one of the handles, and that's where we end this particular minute. So, like I'd mentioned, it's not a very big Tina minute, unfortunately, but we do get a little bit of action from the actual sequence and all that. We We have the angry Freddy trying to make his escape, and then everyone trying to do their best to try and keep alive and all that sort of thing, which is up to this point has been pretty much okay from one excess to the other. Okay, we've solved that problem. Oh, here comes a new one. How do we solve that problem? So they're basically doing really on the move sort of problem solving. A couple of things I want to point out is the chapel door, the lock on it. We know that Ernie has locked the door from the outside with the key. We see a close-up of it in a previous minute. The unfortunate thing, that also means that on the inside where Freddy is, it's just a little turned lock. Like when you have a key on one side, you usually have you could use your hand to turn the other one. So technically, it's really easy to get out of that room.
Yeah.
But then the plan to get to the cars, when they're discussing that, Spider actually uses the Z word. This is the first time in the whole entire movie, and I think it's the only time in the whole entire movie where the actual word zombie is said. They're either referred to monsters or creatures or just like the come back dead and all that sort of thing. So, but it's also a trope with these type of movies that in a movie with zombies, you don't actually use the word zombie because it's new to your thing and all that sort of thing. So, and the other thing about pointing out the time is it's 3:20 in this particular minute of the movie. In the previous minute of the movie, we actually had the time clicking at 3:12. So within a minute, we lose about 8 minutes somewhere. But so again, while you're not involved in this particular sequence, I'd actually like to get your insight on what we had just experienced, because we had just had the 2 minutes ago, we had the Freddy turning on Tina sequence and all that sort of thing. So what was your insight on that particular thing? Like, we know that you guys got the privilege of being able to like rehearse the movie before you actually shot it and all that sort of thing. How did that sequence like play out between the two of you and all that sort of thing?
Yeah, well, that helped a lot because we had a lot of coordination to do, a lot of stunt work to do because of the pushing of things and throwing them. So it had to be step by step by step. So yeah, it was fun to do, and it was interesting that there was so much coordination and there was so much, where's your foot going? Where's your arm going? Okay, when you grab Tina, go this way. You know, it was all of that kind of stuff. So my favorite, of course, was him spewing the spit out. That's just dumb fun. But yeah, it was a great scene. It was really fun to coordinate or work on. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Now again, you're dealing with you're one of the few actors that work in both the exterior rain sets and all the interior, like, because we all know that the interiors are all shot on a soundstage and all that sort of thing. Now, obviously, you're shooting at nights when you're doing all the outdoor rain sequences and all that sort of thing, which must have been miserable.
Miserable, yes. They would, it was late at night and it was cold, and they would just say, okay, turn on the rain after we'd stand under heat lamps, and we'd have to stand there, and then this cold water would just pour all over us. And sometimes we were not dirty enough, so they'd have to come over and it's called a fuller's earth, I think, and they'd have to come and give us a little pat down with dirt and then hose us down again. It was awful. It was just awful. They'd always try and dry the clothing the next day to put us back on us, or we're doing the studio stuff, but they still would go, okay, let's get you wet. Let's get you wet. You know, it was awful.
And of all of them, actually, Tina suffers the most. Okay, other than Linnea Quigley,
Linnea,
Tina's costume suffers the most because you have this pristine white pants and all that sort of thing and whatnot. And as soon as you basically the cemetery scene where the zombies start coming back up and all that, and you do that face plant into a giant puddle of water.
Yeah.
Your clothes are completely muddied from that point on. Whereas like Miguel Nunez, his pants are pretty much still all nice and clean and all that sort of thing. And I mean, he's wearing combat pants, so it doesn't really show up that much. But again, your white pants are, like, as you can see in this particular scene where you're all curled up on the thing, you don't even recognize them as white to begin with and all that sort of thing.
It was pretty gross. We were all pretty miserable. We were very happy because we were working on a horror movie, but we were pretty miserable at those times.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure you would have been. Yes.
And the falling down continuously got very tiresome. And finally, I think it's probably the last scene that they took. It's like it's Miguel and Brian just picking me up and just dragging me out because I couldn't get up anymore. I couldn't get up anymore. So
Oh, really? Okay.
I was trying to get, I think in the beginning, I was trying to get up and run, but it finally got after I don't know how many takes that they just dragged me off. So I couldn't stand up anymore.
Oh,
So, yeah.
okay. That explains why that looks so natural then, because
Yeah.
you obviously had been doing it so many times that
All
okay,
night.
excellent.
Yeah.
All
Tired. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
All right. So over on the commentary track, which we deal with director and writer Dan O'Bannon and the production designer William Stout.
Yeah.
Dan O'Bannon starts by pointing out how the woman on the table is going wild, how the brains are wearing out, and she is in pain. William Stout adding that Tony Gardner, the gentleman who designed and built the half corpse, and himself were making her twitch away. Dan O'Bannon now mentions how Freddy is coming through the door, but it exactly points out he excitedly points out the painting on the left of the chapel door as the one of the two of them were talking about in the previous minute of the commentary track. And then William Stout backs him up, plus adds that his mother probably still has that painting. And once they are back in the embalming room, Dan O'Bannon says how they had to be careful with Don Calfa's makeup. Having just broken his foot, wanted him to look halfway in shock. So they used a pale makeup with accents of pink on his cheeks and chin and a lot of sweat. So that's what we got with that. Now, that brings me to the thing, because basically from this point of the movie, actually, again, to point out, like you and I think Miguel are one of the few actors to work with everybody in this movie. Everyone gets broken up to different parts and all that. Like Linnea Quigley never meets any of the older cast members and all that sort of thing. She never
Right.
long enough and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Chuck and
You see?
Chuck and Casey are in the warehouse, so they never meet Frank and Ernie and all that sort of thing.
Mm.
Well, technically, they don't actually interact with Freddy either, because they're, except for seeing him across the cemetery and all that early in the movie. But
Yeah.
you had the chance to work with all three of these gentlemen, Clu Gallagher and Don Calfa and James Karen.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, for the rest of the movie, you're primarily with Don Calfa. What was it like working with such? I mean, this is a very early in your career job and all that sort of thing. I think it's your first actual credited role, if I have
Yeah. Yeah.
your IMDb properly, other than your appearances
Yeah.
as a baby in
Yeah, baby. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or
um
actually, well, the soap opera, well, TV, yeah, but not
yes,
movies.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah. But so what was it like working with Don Calfa and all that sort of thing?
Oh, great. He was wonderful. He's very sweet and very kind and very funny. And he was very helpful in our attic scene where I couldn't cry anymore. And he goes, honey, listen to this. And he gave me a headset to listen to. And it was just beautiful and put me right, right where I needed to be. And then since then, well, he's now passed, as we know, but I had his ashes for about a year and a half at my house here. So we
Oh,
had coffee
wow.
together for quite a while. And
Oh,
then
that's sweet.
I know, right? And then he used to call me on like Sundays or the weekends. Hi, honey, how you doing? What you cooking? What movies did you see this week? He was just lovely. And he'd say, I'm sitting in my hot tub here smoking. He was smoking marijuana, being naughty. And he'd tell me all about what he loved to cook. So he'd tell me what he had cooked this week and what movies he had seen.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah,
fantastic. Oh my God, that's amazing. That's amazing to hear. I mean, again, uh, talking to Tom about James as well, he had the same exact sort of things to
with
like
him.
say about James. According to the script, which is where we're dealing with the story and screenplay by Dan O'Bannon, and this is the revision from October 1983, based on a story and screenplay by John Russo, Rudy Rickey, and Russell Steiner. Interior, embalming room, night, rain. There's a tremendous crash coming from the direction of the chapel. Bert, Meat, and Ernie exchange a look, and they run out, brandishing their weapons. Interior hall, outside chapel, night, rain. Bert, Meat, and Ernie rush out. The chapel door are rattling. Meat, oh shit! He's trying to get out! Suddenly, smash! Splinters fly out of the door, and a section of the wood protrudes out. Bert, oh shit! Ernie begins to pound nails into the door. Bert and Meat grab a piece of furniture and carry it to shove in front of against the doors. In doing so, they drop the piece of the furniture on Ernie's foot. Ernie lets out a groan and flails. Bert and Meat pick him up and rush him back to the embalming room. Interior, embalming room, night, rain. Tina is sitting in the corner sobbing. Bert and Meat rush in with Ernie. They close the door to the hall and bolt it. Meat, we can't stay here anymore. He's coming through the door any minute. Bert, we'll have to run for the cars. Meat, how do we get past the zombies that are outside? Bert, we'll just have to storm them, fight our way through. Once we're in the cars and moving, we'll be okay. Meat, that's a fuck if it's a big if. Bert, you got any better ideas? Meat, no, I'll do it. Ernie, holding his cracked foot. Christ, can't help you. I can't do any running. Bert kneels at his side. How bad is the foot? Ernie, broke, I guess. Interior, Ernie's office, night, rain. Frank looks better. The rat brain helped. Not much, but a little. Frank goes to the window and slides the shutter up. The rain beats against the glass. He tries to open the window. It won't budge. He throws his weight against it. Exterior, mortuary, night, rain. Crash! The window of Ernie's office explodes out, and Frank comes tumbling out, surrounded by shards of glass. He hits the ground. Thud. He picks himself up and starts to run across the graveyard. Exterior, cemetery, night, rain. Frank, driven, stumbles through the rain and blackness. A corpse, feebler than he, tries to jump him. He just knocks it down and keeps running. Prior to this movie, I don't think I recognized those actors like Clu Gallagher and James Cairn and Don Calfa and all that sort of thing. But going back on him, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember seeing him in this movie, and this movie, and this movie, and all that sort of thing. So I had known their careers for quite a while and all that sort of thing. Where it turns, again, the same thing happened with a lot of this cast and all that. Being first, like really early in all of your careers and all that sort of thing, how I realized going back doing the research for this particular show, realizing, looking at everyone's like IMDb's and all that sort of thing, realizing, oh, I've seen a lot of these movies with these people and that I didn't even recognize that, realize and all that sort of thing. But after this movie, there's a halt in your acting career.
Yes.
Which I take it as self-imposed, correct?
Yes. I ended up actually getting married, moving away to Wisconsin of all places, and just kind of dropped out of it. It was, I thought I had a really uncomfortable time working with Dan, and it really kind of shook me up. And I thought, I don't want to do this, because then William Stout called me and goes, Beverly, I'm working on Masters of the Universe. You're perfect for this part in the movie. And I just said, oh, Bill, I don't think I want to do it. I think I'm going to, no, Beverly, you have to do this. You have to do this. You're perfect for it. I pitched you, blah, 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 blah. Stupid me. I just kept saying, no, I thank you so much, but I just, I don't want to. So I didn't do it. I didn't go for it. I didn't do it. He had me lined up to get that role, and so yeah, it was kind of self-imposed. It was a mistake on my part, but I think at the time I kind of needed it because I was so intimidated by Dan O'Bannon and the falling to the stairs and thinking, this is what they do to, this is what they can do to you, this kind of stuff. I got hurt doing that and all the other things that had happened. So yeah, I just kind of thought, I don't know if I want to do this. I was afraid.
Yeah, well, I mean, if things had turned out differently, you probably would have been one of the stars of Friends. So
right. Come on, that was so cool.
Because you ended up
I don't know that.
you were offered the role of the one that Courtney Cox ends up having and all that sort of thing.
Right.
The Julie
Yeah.
Watson, mind you, Master of the Universe. I mean,
Yeah.
nowadays people look back at it fondly, but I don't think it would have been too much of
Yeah.
us. But yeah, but
Yeah.
when you did come back into acting, you actually did a bunch of producing as well.
Yeah.
You normally you mainly stuck to the horror genre. Now, is
Yes.
that because of you enjoy horror to begin with, or is that
No,
just
it's funny. I had our son, and I didn't want to have anything to do with anything while I raised him.
Mhm.
It's like I homeschooled
Understandable? Yeah.
him. My husband's in the film business, so we traveled a lot, and I
Hmm.
stayed with him, and we traveled with him. So I just didn't have time for that. Well, then he grew up, and then all of a sudden I started getting calls again. So I got calls to go to conventions and all. So it just kind of picked itself back up. I didn't, really, I did not pursue anything. I just was very fortunate. I mean, I still don't have an agent to this day. I did have one for a moment, but it was for commercials, and you have to self tape. Not into the self taping thing. It's just like
Right, right.
so. Yeah, it just kind of happened that way
Oh, so it just
naturally.
organically you got back into doing it then, is what you're
Yeah,
saying? Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
I
that
think,
is kind of cool.
yeah. I
Oh,
think it's the
I did
best
not
way to
realize
do
that.
it. Yeah, best
Yeah,
way. Easy
I
way.
suppose it would be, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you also got into producing as well, which is kind of cool because that obviously came about with you getting back into the horror genre because I believe you have if I'm not mistaken, you have like 6 different producing credits, which are actually quite recently as a matter of
Well, that
fact.
could be. So busy in so many different things. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
true, true.
Yeah, I've got the documentary More Brains, which I
Hmm.
produced. And then what else did I produce? I've got the Trash's Revenge, Driller Killers, that's going to be next year. The Gone
Right.
with the Goldie's Golden Ranch, which is I love
Yes.
it. It's I wrote and produced that one, and I'm excited to see where that goes. We haven't sold
Actually, I want to ask you about that because you're
uh,
not only obviously producing all that, you're the main character, are you not?
Godmother Goldie.
Excellent. Now,
Yeah.
is this just a movie or is this a
No,
children's show
it's
or
well, we have 3 episodes right now. It's a children's
okay.
show. So
Okay.
it's to teach children. It slows down. Right now, I just noticed that what they're showing children right now is just moving so fast. It's just like crazy, and the kids are
Hmm.
watching things that are too old for them. And you remember when we were in the 80s, well, in the 80s,
Hmm.
television was like Mr. Rogers. It's
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, it was slow, it was
Yeah.
lovely, and it was calm. And that's where I think that children need to be. So Godmother Goldie's teaches you a different language each episode, and a letter and a shapes. And it's like the first one is I think is it Italian? We buongiorno. We teach them a little bit of language, hello, goodbye, and there's music. The music's all original. The um, uh, Pledge of Allegiance. We teach that, and then your grand old flag just to get some American stuff in there. But I love it. I hope to sell it, and I hope it does well, and get through the alphabet, and grow,
Oh,
grow.
that's fantastic. That's fantastic.
We have,
Yeah, I myself am a child of the early 70s, so I know what you're talking about, like the Captain Kangaroo and the yeah, and all that sort of thing.
yeah,
Especially yeah, Mr. Rogers. We had a Mr. Dress Up here in Canada, which is
yeah,
basically the exact same thing. But again, the basically not talking down to kids and not like flashing them with all this imagery and all that sort of thing. But again,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, I also was raised on Sesame Street as well, like
yeah.
Jim Henson puppetry and whatnot. But yeah, so
We
that
have
is a
a puppet.
fantastic.
We have a
Sorry,
puppet. We have
you
a
have a
puppet.
puppet?
Yeah.
Nice,
Yeah. And
excellent.
there's no animation in it. There's nothing being thrown in
Right,
your
right.
face
Yeah,
constantly.
which is what you didn't have back in the day. Like you
Yeah.
maybe had an animated opening credits and all that sort of thing,
Yeah.
but that
Yeah.
usually it was always you're always dealing with live action characters and all that sort of thing, maybe a
Yeah.
costume character or two and all that sort of thing. But no, that's fantastic to hear.
Yeah. I love
And
it.
the other thing is the thing that has been out there for a while. I just haven't had the chance to bring up the subject and all that, and that's Trash's Revenge.
Yes.
Now, what is the deal with Trash's Revenge? Because I've heard so many different
I
things
know.
over so many years and all that sort of thing. What is actually? currently, what is Trash's revenge?
Right now, well, Miguel, John, Tom, and myself, we've all,
Hmm.
and we're waiting to see what Linnea is going to do. He kind of changed the script, and he's not telling us too much because he doesn't want to get it out there because he's
Understandable,
concerned
yeah.
about there's another movie that's like playing around, so we gotta, watch what we do.
Right.
So I don't know at the moment. I know he's got a lot of filming to do in the UK still.
Okay.
And I don't know if we're going to the UK to film or not, so we'll see. But we did film already in Los Angeles. So we'll
Okay.
see how that plays out. It should be sometime next year coming out. I know that the gentleman that's producing and directing it, is also doing a video game. So we'll see how that plays out as
Okay,
well.
he's also doing. Okay, I
Yeah.
didn't realize he was. Yes, I was aware of a video game and all that sort of thing, but I didn't realize it was the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah, this
Okay,
is like
that's great.
every different team in the here is
Right,
trying
yeah.
to do their stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
There's so much
Yeah.
out there and again, also it spurs the thing where you as the cast came
Yeah.
together and had to create the Return of the Living
Yeah.
Dead originals, which
Yeah.
in my every single episode of my podcast has a link to your page and all that sort of thing for it and all
Thank
that
you.
because
Yeah.
of the situation that you guys found yourselves in
Yeah.
after whatever happened to the rights got lost, and then so many people claiming they had the rights and all that sort of thing, and then you
Yeah.
guys not getting, because obviously back in the day in the mid 80s contracts didn't have all those clauses put into them and all that sort of thing, and then
Yeah.
you guys had every right to approach the person that was making money off of your likenesses and all that sort of thing, so then you had to come up with this.
Illegally
Yeah,
making, yeah,
exactly.
and also telling the vendors, he would tell the vendors that, well, let me see your drawings because I have to take it back to the cast members and have them approve the drawings, which was a complete lie. None of us.
Oh, really? Oh, I did
Yeah.
not see that part
So
of it and all that. So
yeah, oh,
that's
it's all
scum.
bad. It's all not a pretty picture. So our
Wow.
court date is September 11th, 2028. So
Oh,
it's
whoa, that's oh
yeah,
my
we're
gosh.
very, very upset, but we have a good attorney. We've got Larry Zerner, and he knows this inside and out and backwards and forwards. So he's like, yeah,
Okay.
he's got this, he's got it. So all's good. But at least we got some things taken care of. He obviously had to take his website down and stop selling our images.
Yes.
So even though he still claims that, I think he claims he still has the rights to a lot of things, which from our understanding, he does not. So we'll see. And none of us are claiming that we own the movie, anything like that. I mean, there's been a lot of that talk as well.
Yeah.
And that's not true. We know full well that Amazon owns the movie and MGM did own the movie.
Mhm.
So we're not making any claims like that. We're just saying that we own our images and you can't
Yeah.
be selling our images and
Exactly.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
black and white. It's a simple thing. But some people just take advantage.
All right. And now for the work print comparison, whereas where you finish filming a movie, you compilate all the shots that you pulled together into one giant version, which they refer to as the work print. For example, we are doing a comparison between that, where we are dealing with minute 72 to 73 of the movie. The actual work print comparison is minute 86:29 to 87:54, so we get a little bit of extras. At the beginning, we watch the trio actually go through the doors into the hallway, and then afterwards we see more of where Bert and Spider get the bench from. Plus, we see Ernie actually retrieve the hammer and nails from the desk that is to the far left of the chapel doors. This take is slightly different from the final, as Don Calfa actually knocks over the small sofa in this version, and the drop into the bench on his foot isn't as convincing. Then, after discussing about the cars, Bert asks Spider if he has any ideas, and it plays out like it does in the script that we had just recently read from. And the one thing missing from this particular sequence of the work print is Freddy bursting through the actual chapel doors. All right, so that being said, we're going to wrap up this particular minute of the podcast. Beverly, anything else that you want to say about either your experiences with the movie so far, how your life has been, and all that sort of thing? Any upcoming projects? Technically, I guess we kind of covered some of the upcoming topics and anything. Anything you want to insert about this particular? Yeah.
I'm looking forward to filming Driller Killer 2. That's going to be a lot of fun, and with Eric Roberts, so that'll be great. I worked with him.
Ooh, Eric Roberts, nice.
Yep, he's in it. And I'm looking forward to our last two conventions at Days of the Dead in November and December. So look for those.
November 8th to 9th, Memphis Monster Con in Memphis, Tennessee, where you'll be able to meet Linnea Quigley and Jewel Shepard. November 15th and 16th, San Antonio Fear Fest, San Antonio, Texas, where you get to meet Alan Trotman, as well as Return of the Living Dead Part 3's Melinda Clark. November 22nd to 23rd, Days of the Dead Chicago in Chicago, Illinois, where you'll be able to meet the entire cast. December 5th to 7th, Days of the Dead Indianapolis, Indiana, where you'll be able to meet the entire cast.
And we had a great time this year. We've had a great time filming everything, and we want everyone to know, and I do want everyone to know that we just feel so blessed and we're so grateful. We just are so grateful. We know we're lucky, and we really appreciate everyone, and we're thankful for that.
And again, I just want to add to you and your castmates and all that. Those that I've spoken to are just, again, they're so thankful for the audience and all that sort of thing. But the audience is really thankful for you guys.
I know there's so
you're going to. Well, I mean, it's true. I mean, the movie, when it originally came out, hit people at certain ages and all that sort of thing, and it stuck with them. If you talk to any horror fan, that movie is definitely in their top 10. It's like my second favorite horror film of all time. It was basically one of the first non-Romero zombie movies that really got to me because I saw it at the right time and all that sort of thing. And because of the young cast and all that sort of thing, dealing with the older cast and how unbelievably, like, that the movie does not, for what it was, for a movie in the mid 80s with the budget that it does, it has no right being as good as it is. And that is definitely due to its cast. Sure, you have your Don Calfas and your Clu Gallaghers and all that sort of thing, but you guys, the younger crew, put in such seasoned performances. And again, going back and looking and finding out that it's so early in all of your careers that it's remarkable that you guys, and again, like you mentioned earlier,
we get to bond for 2 weeks before we started filming.
Yeah.
That really helps.
Oh yeah, and it's something you rarely get to be able to do. I mean, like it's a dream to be able to do that, and it shows. Your characters act the way old friends would act together. Like that opening sequence where you guys are walking across the sidewalk and all that sort of thing. Just the jabbering back and forth of the conversations moves so fluidly and all that sort of thing, which is again a testament to how good of actors you guys are. I mean, also, it doesn't hurt that you're all an attractive cast and all that sort of thing, and you hit people at the right time. Like I definitely followed Linnea Quigley's career from that point on, because she was basically in the genre that I love to follow and all that sort of thing. But again, when Tom shows up in a Friday the 13th, and so does Miguel. He shows up in a Friday the 13th, and you're like, oh my God, I know those guys from that. Exactly, yeah. Yes, exactly. Which is something I didn't know till way, way later on, which is unfortunate that we lost him so soon and all that. But again, going through your careers and all that, I'm realizing, hey, I've seen them in that, and it's all like it's just like, us as the audience are very thankful for you guys, and I love the fact that we have the ability to show up at conventions and tell this to your face and all that. And if you're listening to this and you haven't had the opportunity to do it. Do yourself a favor. Any convention that, if they're there by themselves, if they're there as a group, go out and meet these people in person, because they are probably the best people on the face of the earth. I can attest to at least the handful that I've dealt with and all that. They are very welcoming, and they are very honestly, probably the best people that I have run into. And in this short little time that we've had between us and all that sort of thing, I really, again, I appreciate you for helping me out with this particular project. I really appreciate it.
It's a cool project. I can't.
Thank you. Yeah, this is, like I said, this is minute 73, so I've done this for 73 episodes and all that sort of thing. And
Wild.
with
Yeah.
a 91-minute movie, I've got a few more to go. So hopefully in maybe the near future, we can rearrange to get you on for a more Tina central episodes and all
I think
that sort of
so,
thing.
yeah.
And
I'm good with how it went. I love, what we covered.
yes, exactly. So once again, thank you, Beverly. Thank you, audience. And I got nothing else to say, but see you next Wednesday.
You've just been listening to a Planet Geek production of Do You Want to Party? A Movies by Minute podcast of the 1985 The Return of the Living Dead. Please be sure to subscribe, download, comment, share, rate, and review. Be sure to follow us on our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Tumblr, or Letterboxd. Search for Planet Geek Productions. X, former Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky, search for Planet Geek Pod. Or send us an email to planetgeekpod@gmail.com. Our closing music is provided by Night Chill. See the show notes for more details. Once again, thanks for tuning in, and farewell, fiends.
Of course,
All
right?
right, good
Of
then.
course.
Yeah, okay, it always happens. Yes,
They know
exactly,
better.
exactly. Yeah. All right, so here we go. Greetings, ghouls, and welcome to Do You Want to Party? The Movies by Minute. Wow, I'm the first time I've actually messed that up.
I've got you stressed because I was
Exactly.
running late. Then the phone
Oh,
rings, so of course.
Yeah, exactly. All right. All right,
Cool.
so thank you once again for this.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Now I got to try and get Miguel to lock down an actual time. And
He's
unfortunately,
impossible. Well,
it's good to know.
he he had a flight to go out on Monday, and then he ended up driving to his uncle's and then changing his flight. He just, he's just kind of all over the place. He's hard to tag. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
good luck.
I'll keep sending. Well, seeing you guys don't have one until November, I'm going to see if I can tag him in for an upcoming minute because
You can do it. I believe in you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.